Okay, so I'm doing this the old-fashioned way without the Roadcaster Pro because I can't work out how to get it working with OBS yet, but I will. I will. So this is back to computer audio for a little bit. So the good news is that I've now got broadband installed in my apartment, which means that I can do live streams. I can do live streams with a good solid amount of bandwidth and without any dropped frames. That's a major victory for me. It's such a major victory, you would not believe it. I know people take no notice of any of these metrics when broadband's working, but when it's not working properly, or when you're relying on dodgy Wi-Fi or a hotspot on your phone, you've got to take notice of these dropped frames metrics because it's absolutely critical. There's no point in even talking if you're dropping frames because it'll just look ridiculous. But now that I've got my broadband in, I can do one of these every single day. So I'm going to be doing a live stream every day. So on Monday to Friday, I'll do 10 minutes. I'm not going to do very much, but I'll do 10 minutes. And I'll just talk and see where we go. Last night I was talking about the National Health Service and what a mess it is. So let's do that for 10 minutes because I know I've got an opinion about that. So let's start with that. So the National Health Service has been around for 70 years? Just over 70 years. So in the beginning, it was a public health. It was a response to public health in the UK before the Second World War. So the response to the problem came after the war because the government had to give people something to just keep them on side. There would have been a revolution after the Second World War in Britain, I think, if there hadn't been some kind of welfare state because of the level of sacrifice that people were making. So that's right. The welfare state was voted for. The National Health Service was voted for in a mass way. There was no issue with it happening because it was voted for by everybody pretty well. Probably not the Conservatives and the traditional people, but by everybody else who just fought in a war. Then it was voted for. So it was fine in the beginning. It's big public health projects. It's sewage systems. It's all those sorts of things that do mass changes in public health. That's a good thing. More recently, it's become just a channel for the pharmaceutical companies. So the story that I tell is registering for the doctor the last time I did it, which is about 4 years ago now, in Heworth, and the nurse took me through a series of questions, did some measurements on my blood pressure, on my cholesterol level, and asked me some questions about my family history. All perfectly reasonable thing to do. But then when it came to the cholesterol, I was under the level where she could give me statins. I wasn't at that level on whatever scale she was using, so she more or less apologized for not being able to give me statins. Statins are some hideous thing made by Pfizer that allegedly lowers cholesterol. And I'm not taking anything for granted with Pfizer now. So I'm saying allegedly, and I'm saying hideous deliberately, because I think everything they do is allegedly and hideous until I find out otherwise. So the point of the story is that she apologized for not being able to give me sweets for registering with the doctor. So she's, without her knowing it, she's tapping into my subconscious from when I was 3 or 4 or 5 years old, and I used to get rewarded with sweets, as did pretty much everybody. You get rewarded with something when you're that age to behave in a particular way. So the pills are tapping into that subconscious response. In my view, I'm not a psychologist, but that seems logical to me. That when you give somebody a pill, it's the equivalent of giving them a jelly bean or a Smartie or whatever. It's the equivalent of giving them a Werther's Original. I think that's what I used to get. Werther's Originals and wine gums and those sorts of things. So it taps into all of that stuff subconsciously that presumably produces dopamine, produces a reward response. So you get a pill, you get dopamine, and it reinforces your connection with the doctor. So subconsciously you've set up a feedback loop that says, I want more dopamine, I need to have something to go to the doctor about, which then sets up a process which makes you sick so that you can go to the doctor so that you can get another pill. And that's not the kind of feedback loop that I want anywhere in my life, quite honestly. I just don't want it anywhere near me. And I will not have it anywhere near me. And anybody tells me that that's healthy is lying, basically. They're lying. So it's not healthy at all. It's not a healthy way to run anything. And that's what's happened to the National Health Service. So we don't need more doctors. We need less pills. We need less reward for being sick so that we can break that subconscious cycle. And this is what I was talking about on the radio show last night. Even though it's a music show, I got into a bit of a rant mode, and I did 10 minutes on the NHS, and that was more or less what I said. And that's what I think. That's what I think's happening. So the way to break the link between the dopamine response and the pill is to take away the pill. And that way you break the link between sickness, dopamine response, and reward. That's how I think we should be doing it anyway. That's just me. And that's my 10 minutes, I think. Is that pretty much my 10 minutes? 7 minutes. All right, that's pretty much enough, though, to be going on with for the first one. So I'll start by doing a Friday stream, I think. And then I'll just add in the other days as they come up. As I've got something to say. I'm not just going to speak for the sake of speaking. I don't do that. But that's enough for now. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you again whenever. Tomorrow maybe, or next Friday. Just keep an eye on the live stream notification.